Hey, what is going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to do a full ranking of all of the buildings in Fortnite Chapter 1 Pleasant Park and rank them from A, which is being amazingly good, down to F, which is painfully bad, and you should just leave the location before landing here. Um, while I am going to be looking at this from the perspective of Fortnite Project Era Season 7, because Pleasant Park barely changes, this ranking is pretty stable across most seasons. And with that out of the way, let's get started. So let's start out with the Southeast and Modern House. Modern House is just not that good. I don't know why so many people are landing Modern. The nice thing about Modern is that you can get guns off the roof, which is nice. You can maybe shoot someone out of the sky early game. But you have one chest, not that good floor loot. It's just not a good house. It's as a backup option, sure. But if this is your primary house that you're landing at, even if no one is in Pleasant, I would highly recommend you reconsider. It's just okay. It's not the worst, but it's way overrated, honestly. Next, green or basement house. It's definitely a step above modern. I'd say it's a B tier house. Two chests, not bad. Decent loot. You're next to modern and gas, which are both worse than you. So if you fight someone from modern or especially from gas, you're probably going to win that. It's a decent house. I mean, it's good. You can land at it as your first choice. There's just nothing wrong with it. It's just a decent choice. Gas station is F tier. If you are landing gas station, I recommend at this point that you turn around, fly back to the Rifts by the Burger Head, and either go to Aim Station, Motel, Loot Lake, Lazy Links, anywhere else except for gas station. If I recall, there's no chest, but even if there is one chest, it's still painfully bad. You're next to LeBron's house, which is infinitely better than you, and also Green, which is significantly better. You're screwed the moment you find somebody, so just don't land here. If you need to land here, bail out and go somewhere else. Okay, next up is LeBron's house. LeBron's house is the easy A tier. I know some people also call this Dog House, which honestly makes more sense, but I've always called it LeBron's. Let's just call it that. Three chests. It's a massive house, so you have a bunch of loot. If your duo needs to land here with you, that's fine. There's still plenty of loot. This is probably the best house in Pleasant. You know, you're next to gas station, which is painfully bad, and small house, which is also painfully bad. So your first fight, you're very likely to win. Overall, it's a really good house. You're probably going to get contested for it if Pleasant Park is busy, but if you can win this house, you're set up to win the location pretty well. So overall, great choice to if you can land here. Now, small house, or I don't know what else to call it. I used to hear small house, or honestly, bad house, because it's just bad. This place has one chest and like three floor spawns. You're next to Red Brick to your right and LeBron to your left, which are significantly better places. This is like a last resort option. It's not as bad as gas station, but it's still painfully bad because you have no loot here. You have no guns on the roof. You have no advantage. At least with modern, there's a redeeming quality of, hey, we can get a gun off the roof and start shooting people at other places. This house, you can't even do that. So really, this is pretty bad, but it's not painfully bad like a gas station is. Next, Red Brick. Red Brick House is B tier. It's definitely a solid choice. Two chests, fairly loot dense. It's just a good house. You're next to houses that are worse than you, so your first fight, you have a good shot at winning that. It's a good choice. Is it, a LeBron house good? No, but it's solid like Greener Basement is. Okay, Blue House. I think Blue House is a bit overrated. I think people are thinking of the Salty Blue House, which might be A tier because of that basement. This Blue House is honestly C. There's no guns on the roof. You have one chest inside the roof, and then that's it. You just have some floor spawns. It's not terrible, but it's not good either. As a backup option, fine, but I wouldn't recommend this as your first choice. It's just kind of all right, it works, but not great. Now I call this place Boring House. I also hear people call this Blue House, but this house is barely blue, so I'm just gonna call it Boring House because it's a very boring color. This is actually a really good house. This is my number one drop spot. And the reason why I say that is even though it only has two chests, this house has a gun on the roof, which means that if you can get an AR, pistol, sniper, if someone is silly enough to land the soccer field, the park, or even modern house, or in a pinch, certain situations, greenhouse, you can just shoot them across the field and get early kills. That's really good. On top of that, it's just such a massive house. It's, a very similar size to LeBron's, that you have all close to almost as much loot. So overall, I think this is a really good place to land, and it's definitely my choice. But if you land here, I'm gonna contest you for it. This house is just really good. Next, Broken House or Abandoned House. This is the updated version. I believe this happened in. Looks like this is season 9 because of the windmill. It's basically very similar to the older version, which had the the tree log stuck in the roof. I think people also call this like no insurance house. It's also a really good house. It's kind of small, but it's got a basement and it's also got 3 chests. Very loot dense. This is a really good option, similar to LeBron and boring. It's great. And the other great thing about this house is because you're in the corner, it's a lot harder for people to attack you. You can only realistically be attacked from boring house because if someone tries to attack you from modern, they have to cross a soccer field. And that's going to take 20 to 30 seconds. And there's a good chance you can spot them and start shooting them before they can even reach your house. So this is a really solid location. I'd probably put it second place. Probably LeBron is the best, but this is probably the second best choice. Okay, finally, the soccer field. The soccer field deserves to be like FF tier or G tier. This is literally the worst possible place you could realistically go because you have no cover and you have 1 chest. And if anyone lands modern or boring house, they're going to shoot you immediately. Do not land at the soccer field for any reason. If you need to land at the soccer field, I highly recommend you turn around, go to the burger rifts, and bail out and go somewhere else. The chance of you surviving here, if anyone spots you, is very low. Do not land here. It is literally the worst place to go. And gazebo or park, still painfully bad. Slightly better because you have this roof and these support beams for a little bit of cover. It's still painfully bad, but it's slightly less bad than soccer field, I would say. So overall, yeah, this is where I think the rankings are. I think LeBron is your best choice, followed by broken, then boring. Green or red brick. I'd probably put red brick 4th place because red brick is next to slightly better houses. Green, you also have to go in the basement, so if someone attacks you, you're on the low ground. Yeah, I'd probably go red brick, then green. Modern or blue. Both of these are not great. Honestly, I think blue is better because modern you're so exposed. Then small house, then does the gas station have a chest? Both of these are bad. I'd probably say park is marginally better than gas station and soccer field is the worst. So that's kind of my ranking for Pleasant Park. If you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment below. Happy to have a conversation with you about it, and I'll catch you in the next video.